It's been a little while since I built a Stratocaster. Hey everybody, this is Matt and we're at Texas Toast Guitars. Thanks for watching. So today I want to do maybe part one or maybe the whole video, I haven't decided yet, of a video where I reproduce a Stratocaster, and this one's kind of a special one because it was built by my buddy Steve over at Maximum Guitar Works. If you've watched some of my live streams, you might have seen when Steve brought this one and the one just like it but with a rosewood fretboard over. It was during one of the workshops here at the shop, and my buddy Doug Santaniello said, "You know what, Matt? I don't think you could even build a Strat as nice as the one that Steve brought." And well, he didn't say it exactly like that. I'm paraphrasing, but he said, "I don't think you can do it." And I said, "Light bulb! Time for a video idea. A good video idea. Let's see if we can do that." So, so let me tell you a little bit of background about this guitar and a little bit of background about the conversation I had with Steve at Maximum Guitar Works and my friend Doug Santaniello, and then we'll get busy turning exotic wood into sawdust. So anyway, this guitar, like I said, this whole guitar, actually this neck and this body were built by my buddy Steve at Maximum Guitar Works, as I have already told you. And Steve has been building Fender style necks for my workshops for a couple of cycles now, and they are terrific. We do a lot of workshops where you build the body and then we provide you with the neck, and then you press frets in and do finish work and stuff like that. We also, of course, do other workshops where here's just a big pile of lumber and we build we build the whole thing, because some people want to do a little bit and some people want to do a lot. So having a bunch of different levels of interaction with high-speed cutting tools is something that we do and will continue to do. But Steve brought over these bodies and they look terrific, and we're thinking about offering a workshop in conjunction with Steve at Maximum Guitar Works, where you get to design your body on a CNC machine and push the button and have the machine cut it out, and then you come over here and we'll do neck work and paint and stuff. Well, we haven't figured it out yet, but you get the idea. But anyway, Steve had a, let's see, it was a reissue Strat that he really liked, and I believe it was from the, I don't know which reissue it was, but this the Fender Custom Shop made a reissue Strat, and so this that I have in my hands here is a reissue of a reissue, if you will, of an old Strat, and it's got quite a bit of, let me see if I can get this in the camera here. It's got quite a bit of contouring, and yeah, it's really swoopy and sweepy, and it's really neat. And you don't see this on production, like non-custom shop Strats, as often as you used to. Now, there was, back in the old days, all this stuff was done by hand. All of this stuff was done by a skilled worker using a tool that was not a CNC machine. Very important distinction there. So anyway, so my buddy Doug said, "You know, Matt, I think maybe some people have the wrong idea that you're just going to do CNC stuff in workshops now." And I said, "Well, that's true, Doug. Maybe we should let them know that that's not what we're doing. We're offering some CNC stuff and some not CNC stuff." Then I thought, it would be a cool video for me to try to replicate this guitar body in my shop using the same kinds of tools that they would have had back in the vintage Fender factory, the pre-CBS factory. Quite a bit further than pre-CBS, way past the post era. But this is a reproduction of a pre-CBS Fender Strat, and so we are going to, actually it's a reproduction of a pre-CBS Strat replica, what do they call that? Reissue. So we're going to do a reproduction of a reproduction of a reproduction, and that sounds to me like a funny thing to do. So we're gonna do it. Now, I have caught a little bit of flack for being being into CNC stuff, because I am a big proponent of no CNC stuff. But the older I get and the wiser I get, the more I understand what CNC is all about. Now, I choose to not use CNC for things besides inlay, and that's just me. I'm a woodworker and I like the old school stuff. If I needed to make 100 guitars a day, well, I couldn't do it like I do. Fortunately, I don't have to make 100 guitars a day, so I get to do what I want when I want with the tools that I want. But CNC is cool, and like I said, I've even acquiesced to CNC. And if you are interested in buying a body and buying a neck from Steve at Maximum Guitar Works, he's happy to sell them to you. If you want to make guitars using the old school tools, then we're all happy for you too. And if you want to do like some of those chuckleheads on guitar forums say, if you want to use your teeth and your fingernails to make guitars, I got nothing. But listen, whether you have a $200,000 CNC machine or a $200 router, the simple fact is you're gonna need some tools to build guitars. And whether you have a super smart machine that knows exactly how to change tools out and do all these patterns because you programmed it right, or you use your hands to manipulate the material into the tool, you're gonna need some skill and you're gonna need some experience. So, choose whatever you want to do. Buy a really expensive CNC machine and make guitars that way, or buy the old school tools and make them that way, or you can use your fingernails and your teeth, whatever all those jamokes on guitar forums say when the whole CNC versus handmade comes up. People are really dumb. That's all you got to know. All right, so enough of the bullshit talk. Let's see if we can replicate this body. Hell, let's see if we can replicate the neck too, using the old school tools just like they would have at the Fender factory back in the day. All right, so I've got the body here on one of my work tables, and I've got a towel so I don't get it all scratched up because it's in pretty good, almost ready to start finishing shape. In fact, heck, it might even be all the way ready to start finishing. So let's go ahead and pull the neck. Now you'll see the neck is fairly tight in here in the pocket. Come on. Okay, so I love to have a tight neck pocket. This might be a little too tight if you decided to spray hard finish onto this. You would need to grind this down because the paint is going to add some thickness. If you're going to do an oil finish, then that would be super. So we're going to set this aside for now, and we're going to concentrate on the body. Now, this is, like I said, this is a reproduction of a vintage Strat, and let's see how some of the templates that we have from Steve match up with it. And I want to talk to you guys a little bit about the templates that we get from Steve. So if we line some of this stuff up, you will see that it is pretty dang close. It looks like it's a little different through here. The horns are slightly different. You see it's a little squished in this way, so we probably aren't going to get it exactly right because we will be using this template, but it's awfully close. Let's see, let's line up the neck, or I'm sorry, let's line up the trim holes, and let's line up as much other stuff as we can, and I'm going to show you guys where it seems to be a little bit different. All right, so you can see it's some of that is the round over, of course, and some of it is just slight variations dimensionally. Like, so, for example, you can see that the jack, the football jack, is a little different, and you can see that. Actually, that looks pretty good, but you can really see it right here. It looks like this upper horn is a little narrower than the template. But again, some of that is just the round over. Okay, so yeah, but I think it looks pretty close. So that's going to be where one of the differences is the templates that we're going to be using are just a slight going to get a teeny bit different than the body, and I think that's okay. All right, so let's set this guy off to the side. One of the benefits of using Steve's templates is the off-body alignment pinholes. And you guys can see that you can use different templates. Like this one is for a Strat with 2 humbuckers and a rear route and a Hipshot hardtail bridge. And this one is for kind of the vintage style 3 pickup under a pick guard with a 6-hole trim. So you could use this template if you wanted to do the all of this stuff and then say, you know what, but I want to add this Hipshot bridge. No problem. You just pop the template off and mark for your bridge. Or if you wanted to do 2 humbuckers with the trim route, no sweat. Happy meal for you. We also have this guy here, which is our neck pocket. Also the bridge, again, this one's designed for a different tremolo bridge, but same scale. And this has the neat feature of having the control cavity be on a separate template, so it's easier to make the control cavity deeper. Okay, so we're going to reproduce this using Steve's templates. We're going to see if we can get as close as we possibly can. All right, and we're going to be using Steve's templates. Let's get to the hunk of lumber that we're going to be using, because that's going to be difference number 2. Okay, difference number 2 is that we are going to be using swamp ash for our body rather than this alder. 1, because I have it, and 2, because my friend Jim has an actual legitimate 1957 Strat, and it's got an ash body. And who knows, maybe we'll go see Jim after we're done here and see if we can sell him this guitar. Okay, so this is a 2-piece swamp ash body that we got from Dan and Calvin over at Tonewood Experts. And we're going to draw a center line on it, and we are going to drill 2 holes for our off-body alignment pins right here and right here approximately. And that's going to be the first thing that we do. Alright, so I've drilled a couple holes for my off-body alignment pins, one at the horn and one at the butt here. Now, I did double stick tape the template down, so while it's still taped down, I'm going to go ahead and draw around the body template. I like to draw around the outside rather than draw around the inside, because it's just better that way. Now, again, remember we talked about this. You guys are going to need some tools, and if you don't have a drill press, these off-body alignment pinholes can be tricky. I'm not going to say you can't do them, but it's really pretty important that they be 90 degrees perpendicular to the board, and that way, because you can use this template on this side or this side now, and it'll be the same when you flip them around. That's going to be extra important when it comes time to route for the trim cavity on the back, because we're going to use the same pinholes, off-body alignment pinholes. We're just going to do it from a different side. So another thing that we can do is we can mark some of these various holes, boom, 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 and drill them. So we are going to select a transfer punch and actually mark some of these holes, because it's a good idea. And I'm just going to tap them lightly, and I'll use a brad point bit to finish these holes off, and we'll make them the same size as the ones that Steve used on his template. So I've got 6 for my 6-hole trim and 4 for my neck blank. I'm sorry, my neck pocket. I like to do the neck pocket ones while everything is still a big thick chunk of 1 3/4 ash. That way I don't have the same blowout issues that I would if I did it the other way. Okay, so now we can go ahead and pull the template. And you can see we'll mark the holes, and we'll drill the holes here coming up. I'll probably do the neck mounting holes from the other side, but I thought I would just throw it at you. Okay, so these guys here appear to be 1/8 inch. Okay, so we're going to go 1/8 of an inch. We'll write it on our board here so we don't have to remember. And since we're replicating Steve's guitar, let's actually see how deep these holes are. It's not going to matter, but it looks like they are right in between, right at 11/16 deep. So we're going to do like Steve does, and we're going to start with excellence. So we're going to go 1/8 hole, 11/16 deep. And now let's have a look here at our neck mounting holes, and they are, it looks like, I can't see, it looks like they are 3/16. All right, now that I've got some of this stuff marked on here, I'm going to go ahead and go over to my bandsaw and cut as close to the line as I humanly possibly can. I'm going to leave this spot right here a little proud because I want to actually fit my neck to the pocket and then grind this off so that my neck and my the end of my heel are 1-to-1. That is to say, my neck doesn't overhang the heel and my heel doesn't overhang the neck. All right? So this is the one spot where I'm not going to cut as close to the line. I'm just going to get pretty close. Okay? Let's go over to the bandsaw. All right, so I got my body all cut out here. It's real close to the line. I left a little bit extra right here at the edge of the heel. And now we're going to attach a template using some of these 1/4-inch dowel pins in the off-body alignment pin holes. Now, if any of you guys who have been watching my videos for a while think you know what's going to happen next, I might have a bit of a curveball for you. Normally, I would attach a template and go immediately over to my pin router and start working. But because I'm doing this kind of to see if I can do it with a lot of the old school ways, and the pin router would be an old school way, I'm going to actually do the outline on my router table, which I think would be neat to show off a couple things. One, that it can be done not using a pin router. And by the way, I'm going to be using my pin router later. Okay. But the other thing that I wanted to show off is when Steve gives you these templates, or when you buy these templates from Steve, he includes these paddles, and that keeps your hands steered clear of the router bit so that you can go around the table router with your hands up here, and the paddles can if anything's going to get damaged, it'll be the paddles, not your hands. I like to think that I gave Steve this idea, and who knows, maybe I did, because I used to do this with my, in fact I still do, with my shaper. But Steve made it nice. He took my what I was doing and streamlined it. So anyway, because this is swamp ash and because we got so close to the line, we're going to go ahead and do this on my router table with one of the Infinity Tools flush cut bits. So that actually went pretty well. These handles really keep everything nice and keep your hands from getting into a spot where they don't need to be. You can dig too. There's little steel inserts here that Steve put on, as well as some little wheels to make it handy so you don't forget. All right, let's pop this template off of here and have a look. I'm going to use the this punch to drive my pins out rather than attempt to yank the template off that way, because these templates are made of acrylic, and this one's still acrylic even though it's got the paper on it, but they're made from acrylic, and they are very durable, but they're also they don't exactly bend. So okay, so there we go. Now you can see our Strat body is looking pretty good. I am going to drill some 1/8 inch holes here and some 3/16 holes here, but I want to drill the 3/16 holes from the other side so that the drill bit pokes out this way. Because if the drill bit pokes out through this wood and does any chipping or any tear out, all this is going to get cut away when I do the neck pocket. So so why not use the sacrificial area there? And I'm going to hold the template on with the with some pins here. Okay, pop the old pins out. And I'll mark these guys, and we're going to go 3/16 holes. Now this, again, if you're just starting to watch the video for some bizarre reason, all this is going to get cut away, so it looks a little bit off. So don't anybody tell me, hey, this looks off, because I already know it does. All right, so we're going to drill some 3/16 holes here, and we are going to drill some 1/8 inch holes here, and we're going to do that right now. Alright, so I got my neck holes done, and I got my bridge mounting 6 holes here. Guys, if you wanted to do a 2-point modern style trim, or even a Floyd Rose, Steve has templates for that too, so worry not. But again, we are making a replica of a replica of a replica, so we're going with what Steve had on this one. Alright, so the next thing that we're going to do is, well, we can either do this guy here, or where'd the other template get to? Or this guy here. I kind of like using this template, so let's do it. Now I will be using my beloved pin router for this step, but you could very easily use the old school hand router with a bearing bit. I don't do that very often, so I'm going to use my pin router, and I have a pin router, so why on earth would I not do that? Alright, so I'm just gonna Just going to push my pins through my workpiece. And I'm going to attach my template to the back. Now, if you have never seen me use a pin router before, well, for one thing, welcome to my channel. But you might be saying, well, the template's on the bottom. That's not where the template goes. However, the pin router is a handy tool because the pin that is the guide pin for the that follows the template is on the bottom of the machine, and the router bit comes from the top. And again, if you have never seen that before, you will see it here in a moment, and you'll go, ah, that's super cool. I need one of those. All right, I forgot. I like to put a little bit of double-sided tape on at some point on my template here, so that it doesn't wiggle and jiggle around. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, you don't need to do this, but I believe in being thorough. Okay, so we are going to route for the pickup cavities, and we are going to route for the the slot for our trem to rest in, and we're going to route for our jack. So let's take a couple of quick measurements here and see what we need to do, because we are going to match our reproduction of a reproduction. So Steve's got our pickup routes at just below 11/16. Let's see what that is in actual decimals. And we'll try to match it as close as we can. And that's for this guy here. And when we do this route here, we're actually going to go down about an inch. And let's go down about an inch and a quarter. And then we're going to clean up the rest of it with the other route. Okay? That's going to all make sense here in a moment. Okay? So pickups are going to be 0.664. We're going to go down 1 1/4 or 1.25, and we're going to go down 1.48, right about 1.5 inches for our jack, our football jack. Okay, so I've got my template is attached. It's all ready to go. Let's go over to my beloved pin router and cut it out. Okay, gang, this is a pretty familiar camera angle if you've watched my channel for any amount of time. I've got my pin and my pin router here, and it's going to follow the contours of the template, and the cutting bit here is going to impart the cut. So we're going to start with the pickups, and we're going to step it down. It's going to be one of my favorite things in the whole wide world to do. So that was fun, and it looks pretty good. Now, Steve's pickup routes on his guitar were 0.6645 deep, and ours are 0.669. Is that right? Nope. 0.67. So let's see. So that means that our margin of error is that much. So that's pretty close. Steve's jack for the football jack was 1.487. Ours is 150. So I think that this is all going to be probably, we're talking about such small variations, the calipers probably can't even pick it up all the time. And we still have a bunch of sanding to do, so I think we're going to be okay. I think even Steve at Maximum Guitar Works would agree that we have started with and continued with excellence along this path. So now we're going to switch templates, and we're going to finish up our trem route, and we'll be pretty, oh, and neck pocket. We have to still do that. Okay, now I've got my other template on, and I'm going to route this little patch right here. I'm not going to worry about this guy, which is kind of what we're going to use as our reference point for our belly cut, and I'm also not going to worry about this guy, because that's the template, the part of the template we would use in case we were using a spoke wheel adjust truss rod. But I'm going to route this section here to 5/8 deep, and I'm going to chase this down to 1 9/16 deep on this side. And Foreigner must be on the radio. All right, you can listen to whatever you want on the radio. Well, that looks pretty good, you guys. We got the rest of the trim route is all done, and it looks a heck of a lot like Steve's. There's a little lip right here, which is right around 1/8 of an inch, just like on Steve's. Here, let me show you what I'm talking about. Here's Steve's, and you can see there's a little lip right there, and it looks pretty good. In fact, it looks pretty excellent. The last thing that we have to do is put our neck pocket in. So now we're going to put our neck pocket template on. Oh wait, we have to put our neck pocket as well as our control cavity recess. So it's going to look a little like this. and a little like this. And of course, we're going to measure Steve's and see how deep those are on the master unit here. All right, what do we got here? We've got right at 1.5 inches deep, 1.5 inch deep for that, and right at 660 for our neck pocket depth. Okay, so we push the pins through. Come on now. And we'll shift all this stuff around. Okie doke. I like to remember to put some double-sided tape down, because the pins do all the indexing, and they'll hold the template on just fine, but having a little bit of double-sided tape doesn't hurt. If you watch Steve's videos, he says to put a little drop of water on the pins. That would probably work too, but you know, I have so much double-stick tape floating around the shop that I just use it more than anything else. So, okay, come on now. You want it to go on before. There we go. All right. Okay, because my neck pocket is, I want my neck pocket to be as tight as the one that Steve made, I'm going to adjust the dimensions of my pin. I'm going to use a slightly bigger pin, so I make a slightly smaller neck pocket. And I'm going to do that by wrapping some masking tape around the pin, and I'm going to start with quite a bit until my neck pocket is way too tight to fit, and then I'm going to remove tape gradually until the neck is really nice and snug. That might mean that we take off no tape. It might mean that we take it all off. It might mean something in between. But that way we make sure we get a body that matches the one that Steve made, regardless of whether or not we have to sand down the neck to account for finish. Because again, we're making a replica of Steve's body, which is a replica of another body, which also is a replica of an original Fender body. I love saying replica of a replica of a replica. All right, we're going to need our neck, we got our body, and we got our template. We're going to need our pin router, and we're going to need a little bit of masking tape. All right, one of the last things we're going to do with this template on the pin router, and this whole set of templates on the pin router, is we're going to make the control cavity 1.5 inches deep, which it's cool to do that because the pickups don't need to be that deep, but if we're going to use the regular 5-way blade switch, we need to have that much clearance. All right, so I've been at it for about 2 hours now, and here we are. We've got most of the routes done, and just about all of them are within like a few fractions of an inch to what Steve's guitar body had, or has. Now, a couple things. Again, the template isn't exactly the same that I have as the one that Steve made, but we've got to put a little something in here. I'm going to show you on Steve's. There's something a little ball end that goes right there, and the football jack is slightly different sized. You can see what here we go. You can see what I'm talking about there. That's just a little wiring race, and this guy is a touch bigger. So we might try and match this a little closer with our swamp ash body. It's a good idea to make this a little bigger unless you happen to find exactly the perfect jack, and that might be what we end up going with, is just getting the right size jack. Or we might, make it a little bigger. And we probably don't need to put exactly the same thing that Steve did there. We could simply make this pickup like another 1/8 of an inch deep and go into the wiring channel there. Or we could attempt to do it exactly like Steve did. But I think this is getting us pretty close to this guy, as you can see. So, but I think I'm done for today. I think that this was all I wanted to get done in this video. And in video part 2, we will finish up with little stuff like that. We'll cut off these off-body alignment pin holes. We'll put our roundover on, and we will start to do the contouring, which I think is what everybody really wants to see anyhow. So, guys, if you like this video, give me the thumbs up. If you haven't already, please hit the like button. If you appreciate content like this, please consider going over to our Patreon page and becoming a member, or you can sign up here right on YouTube. You can become a member there as well. And even $1 a month goes a long way to helping us bring you guys neat stuff like this. But if you can't do Patreon or you can't join us on YouTube, there's certainly no paywall for the videos. Just like them, share them everywhere that you can possibly think of, and leave some comments too, and help me get ahead of that algorithm there. If you're one of those guys on the internet forums that likes to talk shit about how handmade versus CNC made, have a good time. Share this video too, because I'm kind of straddling the line between handmade and CNC, and but I'd like to know your opinions, your thoughts on doing it the old school way versus doing it with the CNC machine. So until next time, this is Matt at Texas Toast reminding you that if you're so smart, start your own YouTube channel. That's what I did. We'll see you next time. Take care, everybody.